So Andrew Yang talks about the VAT tax, right? Adding a VAT tax. I think it's 10%. Adding a VAT tax in order to capture the capital that is being lost, right? Due to all the loopholes in the tax code, all the ways that corporations have of avoiding paying taxes. So the VAT tax is a more effective way of capturing that because it's harder for them to gain. All right. Now, I don't hear Andrew Yang talking at all about other taxation. I don't know what he wants to do when it comes to raising taxes, if he's going to raise taxes, right? Adding the VAT tax, that does technically raise taxes, but if you're getting $12,000 a year, that offsets it. And so for most people, for the vast majority of people, it will be a net benefit. But is he going to raise taxes? Now, I think one of the arguments that is being levied against Andrew Yang, and I believe it's going to be levied even more, is that Andrew Yang wants to raise your taxes, wants to raise your taxes. Look, he wants to add the VAT tax. How are you going to argue against Andrew Yang wants to raise your taxes when he says, I want to install a new tax that doesn't exist? So I was listening to the Yahoo Finance video. I don't know if you've heard the Yahoo Finance video. Andrew Yang's not in it, but they're talking about him, and I thought it was an interesting video to check out. And I think I'll be talking about it more in the next episode. But they said something about the taxation, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And it made me think: what if Andrew Yang lowers income tax? Right? What if he lowers the income tax? Look, it's being gained. It's taking money out of the pockets of average Americans. I don't know if it's the income tax or payroll tax or whatever tax, but what if he lowers taxes while implementing the VAT tax? And I think about it this way. What if instead of putting a 10% VAT tax, he put a 15% VAT tax, right? Hard to gain. He puts it on luxury items, on the items that are not the staples that human beings need, but on the extras that they're getting. And what if he raises that to 15% and lowers taxes somewhere else? If he makes a claim that he's going to lower taxes in some other way, then it'll be harder for people to say, oh, he wants to raise your taxes. He's like, no, I want to raise the tax. I want to create the tax that corporations cannot avoid. And then I want to lower the other taxes. Right? I want to lower the other taxes because it's hurting the average people more. The corporations are gaining it. The rich people are gaining it. So what difference does it make? Let's lower that and increase the VAT tax. What do you guys think? What do you think about that? Because if taxes stay the same, he implements a VAT tax, they're going to say, Andrew Yang wants to raise your taxes. And a lot of Americans don't like the idea of their taxes raised. And you can tell them, like Elizabeth Warren does, oh, the net cost will be that you'll have to go into your pocket less. It's the cost that we really have to talk about. Elizabeth Warren is losing that talking point. You know, people are getting pretty frustrated with her. I think not saying just look, your taxes will be raised. I mean, she can't even say that. And if Andrew Yang starts playing that game, the total cost that will go down, then I don't think that'll be good. And he doesn't seem to be that type of person. I think. Wait, who do we have here in the chat here? Doom and Gloom. I love that name. They should drop state sales tax. I wouldn't mind paying more in VAT if I don't have to pay sales tax. I'm right there with you. I understand what you're talking about, Doom and Gloom. Thank you so much for commenting. If he can be the person who lowers the other taxes but creates the VAT tax, then I think it becomes, hey, now I'm not so afraid of Andrew Yang. He's not just the guy who's going to raise taxes. He's actually going to raise taxes in a way that companies can't get away from it, and then he's going to lower my taxes in other places. So higher here, lower here can no longer make the argument that he wants to raise your taxes. It's not as a clean argument. It's not a clean attack on him. Right now, Andrew Yang wants to raise your taxes is a clean attack because out of his own mouth, he wants to create a new tax. And when I hear people who don't know much about Yang, who don't understand the policies, when they hear this idea about the VAT tax, I can feel them go kind of still and get kind of quiet, and the blood drains from their face. Like, what? What do you mean? I can see their apprehension. I can see that they're nervous about that. So If he can sidestep that a bit by saying, "Oh, but I'm also going to lower your payroll tax. I'm also going to lower the sales tax. I'm also going to lower some other tax." I'm not a tax expert or anything like that. I don't know much about the subject, but I'm just thinking, hey, is there a way that he can do that? Let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea. I'd love to hear about that.